True Review is back in this hizzy with another top 10 list. Now, let's face it, that was a terrible way to start the video. But you know what else? Some video game trailers and announcements were far worse than that, believe you me. And today, I'm going to share with you the top 10 biggest video game announcement fails that I could find. The only rule for this list is that any announcement of any form counts on this list, whether that be via game trailers or public events such as E3. So with that out of the way, let the avalanche of shit commence. Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. No, before you say it, no, I am not advocating that Wind Waker was a terrible game. No, okay? Wind Waker was awesome, and incidentally, that's why it's in at number 10 and not higher. The fact that game turned out to be good was the only reason this situation was salvaged. Having said that, Nintendo did a really shit job at announcing it. Coming off the bat from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, Nintendo released a gameplay trailer of a more graphically up-to-date version of a different Zelda game, and everyone started getting hyped over this possibly being the official announcement of the new game. Instead, we were treated with a trailer for Wind Waker a while later, which, well, doesn't look anything like what we saw before. And fans got pissed. And I mean real pissed. The graphics looked cartoony and dumb in comparison, and it kind of felt like this was Nintendo's way of taking a dump on the player. Fortunately, however, all of this worked out wonders in the end, as the art style to Wind Waker greatly added to its charm, as well as the game itself being really good. Still was a terrible announcement choice on Nintendo's part though. Deus Ex: The Fall. Human Revolution kicked down the door and let everyone know that the franchise was still alive and literally kicking. There's no doubt about it, Human Rev was an amazing game and is still one of my all-time favourite games. Deus Ex: The Fall, on the other hand, was the game that no one asked for. Mobile ports or mobile exclusive games that attempt to act like a PC or console game are still to this day notorious for being dumbed down considerably and just generally not good. And Deus Ex: The Fall is the prime example of this. Want to remind the people that mobile games aren't good when attempting to be AAA titles? Reference them to Deus Ex: The Fall. It was inferior in every way. Graphically, lack of gameplay mechanics, it tried too hard to be Human Revolution and not its own thing, and the story acted like a sequel to the book that probably no one else watching this, barring myself, had read. It added nothing to the series, and it's just generally not fun to play. But we all knew that from the trailer alone. It showed us exactly what we feared, so no wonder why it didn't do well. Call of Duty: Infinite Warfare. Having friends who are die-hard Call of Duty fans, I kind of see where everyone was coming from regarding the direction of Call of Duty. I used to love this series back in the early days, but went off of it during the Modern Warfare period. I thought that Advanced Warfare was a neat idea as a way of switching things up a bit, though the game ended up sucking Unreal Tournament 3 and Tribes Ascend's cock too much, but I know that a lot of people didn't like this one purely for the direction they'd taken it in. The problem with changing this series from a modern setting to a sci-fi setting is that you're gonna alienate many, if not most, of your fans, and that's exactly what happened. But instead of taking an important point away from this, Activision just kept going with it with Infinite Warfare. But this one's better, okay? Because it has Jon Snow in it! Many Call of Duty fans took one look at the trailer and went, "Oh, come on, again!" and just bypassed it. It also didn't help that this game held the remastered edition of Call of Duty 4 as hostage, as you could only play that by buying this one, and they even said as much in the trailer. Command & Conquer Rivals! Command & Conquer used to be one of the biggest video game franchises out there. When I was still in school, that was one of the main gaming series to get into, and many of my friends played most of them. I got into it too and had a blast, but all good things must be consumed by EA, and that series eventually died out. That was until a few years ago when EA announced a new title finally. Command & Conquer Rivals. For the mobile. Much like with Deus Ex The Fall, this one was just a hacked away and minimalistic version of what we once knew and loved. With hardly any content available, the announcement trailer showed us exactly what it was. A waste of time and money, as well as an insult to this beloved franchise. Bombshell! One of the only times I've heard when a game trailer was so poorly received, it forced the developers to scrap what they had and start over again. The original trailer for Bombshell showed us nothing of what to expect from the game, instead focusing on the main character watching TV, followed by her riding a motorcycle. I never trust game trailers these days anyway, as they hardly ever show you any gameplay footage, and always for a good reason, so these trailers are great at not telling you anything about the game itself. But if your trailer is as lazy as the original trailer for Bombshell, then what does that tell you about the game itself?
Mambo number 5.
Peggle 2! This has to be one of the greatest announcements of all time. Well, for me personally anyway. This is one of those times when someone f***s up so spectacularly that it's golden. During E3 2013, it was announced that the second Peggle game was coming out that year, and the devs were very excited to tell us this. And this was great, as there were many Peggle fans out there. But what happened next was just priceless. So much, in fact, that words can't do it justice, so I'm just going to show you what happened instead.
Coming this year, Peggle 2!
Yes, Peggle 2, ladies and gentlemen. But more importantly, Titanfall. Metal Gear Survive! Let's face it, everyone was going to hate Metal Gear Survive regardless of if it was great or terrible. The fact that Konami had fired Hideo Kojima in the first place was practically commercial suicide for Konami, but I guess they think they know best. But I call it poetic justice when the trailers for Metal Gear Survive finally came out, only for us to realise that this game is going to be yet another tired zombie survival crafting game, because we sure as hell don't have enough of those these days. Metal Gear as a series used to be the king of video games, and we always knew that the day would come when we were going to have to say goodbye to it. That day was when Metal Gear Survive was announced. It's just a shame that the series went out with a fart rather than a bang. Mighty No. 9! If you're trying to sell a game to a specific target audience, then it's best not to insult your intended target audience. But the developers behind Mighty No. 9 didn't know this glaringly obvious fact and went ahead with it anyway. Yes, make the bad guys cry like an anime fan on prom night's got a lot of people pissed, since many Mega Man fans are also anime fans, but even putting that to the side, the rest of the trailer just looks shit. See, here's the trailer, and here's some shit. I literally can't tell these two apart. However, despite what I said before about not trusting game trailers, you can totally trust this one because this is actually the most realistic depiction of a video game showcased through its connected trailer that I have ever seen. Mighty No. 9 is just as bad as how the trailer makes it out to be. And then there are just trailers that shock you. Oh, sorry, Hannah, I didn't do the intro. Wolf Quest! And then there are just trailers that shock you into silence. I don't even know where to begin with this one because there's just so much going on here that I just... wow. Alright, let me at least attempt this one. First off, why are you trying to sell a game to kids where you control as a wolf that pees? I know that wolves pee in real life, or at least I think they do, but why are you showing that in your trailer? Because it's like you're trying to make that come across as a selling point. Second of all, though I don't blame them themselves, the child actors are terrible in this. And that's not a criticism towards the kids, because do you honestly think that this was going to be anything other than cringeworthy? Next, you're really not showing us what this game is about. All I can tell is that you control as a wolf and do stuff. wolf stuff. So what we must be left with are looking for somewhere to make your den, hanging out with the rest of the pack, and occasionally pissing yourself. All in all, what the f***? That's literally all I have to say here. What the f***?
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
Champion Jockey, G1 Jockey and Gallop Racer. Wow, that was a mouthful. And finally, possibly my new favourite trailer of all time, it's gotta be Champion Jockey. Remember that really bad Nintendo Switch trailer that we got a while ago where they show people doing real life stuff but it just looked hilariously bad? Well, this trailer is that, but 10 times worse. We start off by seeing what this game is actually like, and I have to say, dull, bland and uninteresting are words that come to mind. But hey, you might like jockey games, and who am I to tell you otherwise? But wait a second. What's this? No, that wasn't a rhetorical question. What the f*** is this? Have you ever turned on the TV really early in the morning on a Sunday and switched to the news channel, only to find that they've put someone who can use sign language in the corner of the screen, and you find yourself hypnotically drawn to that person and not what's actually being said? Well, this is kind of like that if the person on the screen were to start doing impressions of being a jockey. Gamers who watch game trailers don't want to see other people enjoying the game. They want to see the game themselves. Now, I honestly can't say that this was the worst game for the Kinect and the other motion control consoles. Oh, that's right, it's a Kinect game, by the way. But I have to say that this is by far the worst Kinect advert I have ever seen, and it just makes the apparent fun look cheap and forced to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if this trailer alone turned many people away. It is hilarious, though. But for all of those reasons, Champion Jockey and its unnecessarily long name comes in at number 1 on this list. Cut! It's a wrap. But if you're gonna cry like an anime fan on prom night, then like this video and hit that subscribe button, goddammit! I'm also on Twitter, as you know, and Patreon, as you also know, where you can find out which video is out next and when, as well as supporting this channel further if you feel so inclined. And I'll be back next week with another goddamned awful video. But until next time, see ya!
Sometimes I think this life